If we want to become better designers, a great starting point is having the right books to help us. For today's video, I wanted to show you a few books that can help you design better, survive architecture, and encourage you to be a better creative. If you're new to the channel, my name is Michael, and I'm an architectural designer. I've worked on multiple of architectural projects, but more importantly, I'm an avid reader and I enjoy a really good book. And if you're interested in improving your space or curious about architecture, consider subscribing to the channel and helping grow the community. Now, with our introduction out of the way, let's focus on our first category, theory. There is one book to start with, one book to ease one into the world of architecture and showcase what's possible in the built environment. It'd be this one, A Place to Call My Own by Michael Pollan. This book is about the author chronicling his journey about designing and building his own writing hut on his property. He also shares his experiences, insights, and struggles as he grapples with architectural design, craftsmanship, and the profound effect that architectural design can have on one's own creativity. If you've ever been curious about architecture and what the profession is truly about, this is a great start. It teaches the reader that how designing one's own space can improve the experience, or simply put, the why of architecture. Here is a great passage that describes it.
Caught a glimpse of a new way of looking at the built environment, a way of conceiving it not just as a backdrop or stage set for our activities, but as a direct extension of those activities, as an active participant in them.
So, if you're curious about architecture and you need somewhere to start, I highly recommend this book for you. I'm quite particular about this book because it was recommended to me by my mentor. I also really enjoy telling people about this book because it lays the groundwork to how one experiences buildings. So for those who want to experience the world in a different way, it's The Eyes of the Skin, Architecture and the Senses. This book is valuable for gaining a broader perspective on architecture that incorporates all your senses and doesn't just rely on what you see. It's got considerations for human-centered spaces while diving into philosophical aspects of architecture and design as well. It's a practical architecture guide for any reader, but it adds depth to how one can explore the role of architecture in our daily lives. So, why is this book for you? It encourages everyone to look at their own spaces with a more discerning eye. It allows one to realize that sometimes spaces are more than just aesthetics and visual experiences. So how can one experience something? Well, here's a quote for your consideration.
The door pull is the handshake of a building, which can be inviting and courteous, or forbidding and aggressive.
So if you enjoy the sensory exploration of the spaces around you, I highly recommend this book for you. Choosing a book to describe how architecture can affect us was a tough choice. There are plenty of books that do this well, but none do a better job than explaining the impact architecture can have on one's emotions and well-being better than this one. It's The Architecture of Happiness. In this book, the author does a fantastic job of explaining how design and aesthetics can impact our well-being, our emotions, and our overall quality of life. He encourages the readers to be thoughtful and mindful of the spaces that we inhabit. And he encourages the reader to recognize the significant role that design has in our everyday lives. So, why is this book for you? If you ever wanted to truly understand the connection between infrastructure and how it shapes us, then this book is a deep dive into those concepts. How we shape our identities is an integral part of any environment that we design. And this book explores the relationship in ways that could help us improve our own space. Here's a great quote that explains this, and one that I've tabbed myself.
What we seek at the deepest level is inwardly to resemble, rather than physically to possess, the objects and places that touch us through their beauty.
So if you can design with your heart or emotionally connect with your living space, I highly recommend this book for you. If there was ever the perfect picture book for any architect, it would be this one. Its ability to showcase accurate construction methods and easily digestible explanations makes this book a must-have for any aspiring architect. It's Building Construction Illustrated by Francis D. K. Ching. The visualizations, along with the simple descriptions, has allowed this book to increase my knowledge base. It's also helped me increase my technical skills as well. So, why is this book for you? This book does a wonderful job of explaining how materials come together accurately. it can be used as reference for anyone who wishes to represent their buildings more accurately. And it can also help someone understand the methods and techniques used in construction today. So rather than reading you a quote, I can show you a few diagrams instead.
Here's a diagram for wood joists, another one for illustrating paving, and a grade section showing a masonry wall detail.
So for anyone confused about construction or just mystified about what are the contents of a building, I highly recommend this book for you. The words you use to describe your own designs are important. I always suggest this book to anyone starting off in architecture because it uses the vernacular of the architect. For those who want to sound like an architect or a designer, this is the book. It's the language of architecture. This book explores the principles, elements, and the vocabulary of architecture. It describes the technical side of architecture, but makes it palatable for any reader, though it's still poetic enough that at the end of every chapter, it will still leave you pondering. So, why is this book for you? For those with a passion for language, this book can help you describe the idiosyncrasies of any project. It has fantastic insights, and it can give the reader a new perspective in a lot of concepts. But most importantly, it provides the technicalities of language that can help you improve how you explain your projects. Here's a quote about materials. Materials are an architect's instruments. When a composer writes a piece of music, it makes a considerable difference if it is to be written for a solo piano, a string quartet, an orchestra, or a marching band. Similarly, an architect's choice of materials has a profound effect on both the form of the work and its reception by an audience. So, if you're into poetry or you want to improve your presentations, I highly recommend this book for you. Whenever I don't know the height of a counter or the precise measurements of the room, I always refer to this book. For anyone interested in the accuracy or precision of their own drawings, this is the book to have. It's the Architectural Graphic Standards. So this book is pure technical drawings and graphical standards that you would find in any building. I don't suggest this as a casual book either because it can be a little bit pricey, but it provides technical drawings and accuracy that can improve anyone's drawing skills. So why suggest this book? Well, for one thing, I think it's for people who will actively use the information in these pages. It can certainly help your drawings be more accurate, and it can break down the elements of your design into numerical values. It's very technical and not for the casual viewer. Rather than read you a quote, here are some drawings that I'll showcase. Here's one showcasing the dimensions of a wheelchair, another one showing the turning radius, and a final one showcasing applicable heights. So, if you're into math or you're about accuracy and precision, this book is for you. There are plenty of books out there that try and describe the creative process, but I've never felt more seen when reading this book. It's The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. This book kind of reads like a journal. It's really profound, so I'm only able to read a few parts at a time before I like to stop and think about them and digest them. It uses diction and prose in a way that just describes every act of the creative process. So why would this book be for you? I would recommend this book for anyone who needs gentle encouragement when they paint, draw, explore through any idea that captures their fancy. It's a book that describes beautifully what creatives do. It also serves as a guide for your thoughts when you're going through hard times with any design project. So, for example, here's one of my favorite quotes so far. We may be tempted to turn back and chase the thrill of feeling the light bulb flicker on above our heads, but the first two phases have little purpose or meaning on their own. Art may only exist and the artist may only evolve by completing the work. So, if you're looking for reassurances or guidance in any creative endeavor, this book is for you. There's a common selection of books that provide multiple tips on productivity, but this book is certainly not one of them. It's the antithesis of hustle culture and a great read for anyone who feels that they're going through burnout. The book is 4,000 Weeks. There's a rampant workaholic and hustle culture in architecture or any creative design profession for that matter. And this book does a fantastic job at mitigating that and showing you what good work-life balance really looks like. This is especially prevalent in a world where our time is limited, hence the title 4,000 Weeks. So, why would you read this book? I would recommend this book for anyone who feels that they're under pressure or under duress of a smothering work culture. It's a book that challenges societal norms that often push us to overcommit or overwork in the name of progress and success. One of my favorite quotes that describes this.
Convenience culture seduces us into imagining that we might find room for everything important by eliminating only life's tedious tasks. But it's a lie. You have to choose a few things, sacrifice everything else, and deal with the inevitable sense of loss that results.
So if you're tired of hustle culture and productivity hacks are making you more depressed, I recommend this book for you. If there was one book that helped me the most in my creative endeavors, it would be this one. Expressing yourself in any design profession can be daunting. And this book taught me an incredible approach to design that still helps me today. It's The Courage to be Disliked. This book is about Adlerian psychology and how we can implement it in our daily lives. This book is really good because it showcases why having courage is important, why community is important, and what it truly means to be present in the moment. So why would I recommend this book for you? I would recommend this book to anyone who has low self-esteem, anyone who is competitive when they should be collaborative with their own community, and to anyone who's just too stressed to express themselves in any design profession. This book has a lot of good quotes, but this one's my favorite.
Unless one is unconcerned by other people's judgments, has no fear of being disliked by other people, and pays the cost that one might never be recognized, one will never be able to follow through in one's own way of living. That is to say, one will not be able to be free.
So if you're timid or you lack the courage to express yourself through your design or even yourself, I highly recommend this book for you. So I hope some of the books I've shown you today can help you become a better creator. If you have any questions or thoughts, let me know in the comment section below. And if you like design, architecture, or just want to improve your space, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching and good luck in all your design endeavors.